So what is the best way to, the safest way to send sensitive information via communication is simply not to send it. Let me stop for a minute. I'm seeing an approval for someone to record. Am I now the boss and I have to do something about that?
Yeah, go ahead and approve it.
This meeting is being recorded.
There we go. Excellent. So let's see. So I've talked to you about the possible pitfalls of emailing, of e-communications. Well, what can you do about it? I mean, it's not like, I'm not going to send any more emails. I mean, you're not going to do that. You have a business to run. I'm not going to send any more texts. Can't do that. Have a business to run. So there's a few things you can do. First, if circumstances require it, know that you've probably heard of attorney-client communication. If you have need to communicate with a lawyer about trying to seek legal advice about something, a communication like that would be privileged. It's an attorney-client protected communication. You would not have to turn that over in litigation. Or if there is a communication that is, the term is in anticipation of litigation, like you're anticipating litigation. So you put together some kind of document for that purpose. You would not have to turn that over. But there's a much easier way to avoid those situations where you don't really have to think, well, where's the gray area? When am I anticipating litigation and whatnot? And here's where we're going to look at some best practices. First of all, ask yourself the question, should I be putting something in an email in the first place? And the way I always put it to people is, the first bullet point here. Would you want your employer, your mother, or a jury to see what you're about to put in this email? Okay. And if the answer is no, then don't send it. Because if you go to litigation, the email that we saw between Sally and BD is going to look like this. It's going to be an exhibit. It's going to be blown up, bigger than life in the courtroom for all the world to see. All right. So, and when I say your mother, your employer, don't put things in writing that, you would be embarrassed or humiliated or mortified. You say something about your boss, you say something about your coworker, you use, unsavory language, what have you, just don't do it. Similarly, this third bullet point, the uh-oh moment. If you have the uh-oh moment, that's what happened to BD. He said, uh-oh, I use these bad fire starters, and it's like cathartic. He's told another person, and that helps him out. Don't do that. If something bad happens, if there's something problematic, if there's something you're concerned about, you don't have to sit in your office and carry it alone, but don't send an email. Don't leave somebody a voicemail. Go old school. Get up and walk down the hall, or call somebody on the phone and just say, hey, give me a call. Don't leave a voicemail. Because remember, as I said, voicemails, if you leave somebody a voicemail that says, oh my God, I really screwed up. I mean, I've got a case now where a voicemail is a key piece of evidence, where on the voicemail, someone called, an insurance company called an insured to confirm that there was insurance coverage. So that voicemail itself is a significant piece of evidence. So don't create evidence. Talk to people in person, talk to people on the phone. We have that rule here. We have our firm's lawyer is down the hall. If something happens, if I make a mistake, I'm not allowed to email him. I'm not allowed to call him. I have to get up, go down to his office, and tell him what I've done wrong. So that should be the same type of thing that you're doing in your business. You don't want to be creating evidence. And this goes not only to the substance of what you're about to write, the uh-oh moment, or I've screwed up, or I'm concerned about this thing, but the manner in which you communicated. Here I tell people, I guess one of the problems with e-communication is it's so quick, it's on the fly, spur of the moment. We say things that we can say them so quickly without thinking. It doesn't take 30 seconds to write a nasty or inappropriate text. I commend people to the letterhead rule, which is, go back to the old days where you had stationery or letterhead with your company name on it. If you're about to send somebody an email or a text that you wouldn't feel comfortable using that language or that content in a letter on your firm's letterhead, then think twice about it. Okay, it may not be appropriate to send. And if you have the time to do it, I also commend to you the overnight rule, which is if you can, you get something late in the afternoon and you start to write a nasty response and you say, you know what, let me just wait till tomorrow morning. Let me think about it in the light of day. So many times, and I'll actually draft my nasty, my nastygram. I'll put it in my drafts. I come back the next morning, I'm like, I'm not sending that, or I'm completely changing the tone, or what have you. So if time permits, give yourself that extra time to think through things when you're a little more level-headed and thinking more clearly. So the takeaway from all of this is, we tell our children about social media. Don't send pictures of your body parts to people. Don't post things that you wouldn't want to come up in a job interview 10 years down the road or whatnot. The same thing holds true for your own emails, voicemails, text messages, other communications. Just don't send these types of communications where there is a record that you can never escape. If there's something problematic in there, they'll come back to haunt you. One other thing I want to mention, and obviously I didn't spend very much time on this slide because it's not something I've had to add until very recently to this presentation, but it's the topic of artificial intelligence. And I thought about how you all might be using artificial intelligence in your professional life, your personal life. In your professional life, you may be using it to help you put together marketing materials or communications, or you need to write a demand letter and you don't want to pay a lawyer to do it, or you want a new form, terms and conditions or whatever, and you don't want to pay a lawyer to do it, what have you. I saw something the other day, and it was the perfect articulation of my advice for how you should and should not use artificial intelligence. And it said, if you're going to use AI as the tool, not the final product. But let me read that to you again. Use AI as the tool and not the final product. And what that means is AI in your business and in my own, and I'll tell you about my business in just a second. AI is great for high level ideas, how to get started, some brainstorming, some spitballing, like I want to start this campaign and I don't have any idea how to do it or whatnot. Put in some terms, get some ideas, but don't take it as the gospel. Don't send that out as anything. Just get your ideas. I mean, no one knows how to communicate with your customers, your suppliers, the way you do. Okay. Similarly, no AI knows how to draft contracts, write demand letters, do the kinds of things that are appropriate for your business and your jurisdiction. So whether it's marketing stuff, legal stuff, communications, whatever, don't use artificial intelligence for anything other than just these as a tool, as these high level ideas. I'll give you an example in my practice, and then I'll stop. AI is a huge topic in the legal industry right now, because what will happen is you'll have a lawyer, and this happens all the time, it's kind of scary. They'll get behind on their work. They have a brief they've got to submit to the court in 2 days. So they'll put everything they need, all the facts of the case and the issues into AI, and they'll let AI draft their legal brief for them. A brief will be, a 10, 20-page document with the case law and the argument, everything. They'll submit it to the court. The court will read it and go, oh, well, this case that they've cited in their brief is interesting. I'm going to go read that case. What they will find is there is no case, okay? The AI that drafted the brief completely hallucinated a case, the name of a case citation. There was no such thing. The lawyer who was under pressure didn't proofread his brief, submitted to the court. The judge goes wild, sanctions the lawyer, gives him a fine, etc. So that's what's going on in the legal industry with artificial intelligence. I would never do that, of course, but I do use AI if I have a new issue, just something I want to think about, and how do people treat this particular issue. I will go into Google and I'll put in, statute of limitations in Montana, whatever. I'll see what it has to say. I'll get some direction, but that's not it. That is my starting point. And then I'll go and, research the proper sources and satisfy myself that I've done my own research. Y'all should do the same. If you need to write a, new promotional thing, you want some ideas of some language, some catchy terms, great, put it together. But as I said before, Nobody knows how to communicate with your customers like you do. So get your high level ideas. I've received communications for people, or people will say, hey, would you read this letter for me and let me know what you think? And I read it and I say, you didn't write that, did you? No, they didn't. You can tell. They're using words that are unfamiliar. It's very stilted, and they're kind of doing themselves a disservice. You know, y'all are in a service business. You want your customers to feel like you're speaking to them. So don't use AI to do things that with a little extra time you could do better and more intelligently. So that's all I have to say about all of that. As I said, I just kind of touched a few topics. These, you know, don't create evidence unnecessarily. Don't use artificial intelligence to do your hard work for you. Those are my high points for today. Can I answer any questions from anybody, or anybody have any comments they want to make about how you use electronic communications or AI in your business? Shannon, you have a hand up.
Mm-hmm. I want to also,
or you might be high-fiving me. I'm not sure.
yeah, I'm high-fiving you. Yeah, good job. Good job. It was good. I want to add to that with the AI. So just as you said, you know, we are the humans. The humans still need to prompt the AI and get the information. From a marketing perspective, I just want to also add to that and warn everybody, even when you're creating images through AI, AI is out there gathering the resources that are out there to look at. It still could pull images from Getty, from some of the licensed, you know, companies out there to put together some custom image that you're creating. Just be careful of that, because that actually has in the past, you know, brought up any kind of red flags, like from the company who has the license for that image to potentially sue you over that image. So just be aware. Getty almost owns like all images out there. I'm not saying it's just Getty, but just especially when it comes to images you're looking for or trying to create, be careful of that.
Any other comments on AI or emails? Yes, Tanya.
Hi there. Thank you so much for all the information. It was great. We use Teams, Microsoft Teams in our company quite a bit. So I just want to remind everybody, those messages we're sending back and forth, this would partake in that same thing. Sometimes we forget about Teams as an actual electronic communication because it's internal, but I think that would be something that could also be pulled up if we were ever found for anything, the documents that are saved, the file folders and stuff. So just it was food for thought. Was on my mind when you said what you were saying, because we use Teams so much now. You kind of eliminate that as something that could be evidence somewhere, but it could be, I assume.
And are you making recordings of Teams meetings? Yeah. So
we record, we do trainings, we communicate. I have multiple different chats. We talk about customers, what, you know, scheduling, if there was an issue, technicians going back and forth. We use it in everything. So I just wanted to just throw that word Teams out there, because, you know, sometimes we forget there's so much different technology now that we've gotten accustomed to it and we don't think about it. And I don't know how we function without Teams, to be honest with you. Teams has been a game changer for us, and we've had it for some time. But yeah, that was what I want to say. And the AI thing I think is awesome. I 100% agree with the tool use. So there's a lot of times, like I had an offer letter I wanted to write, or I had a different type of letter I wanted to write. I got everything out of my head, put it down, organized the best I could, and then I put it in Chat GPT and basically said, please format this more professionally, friendlier, whatever it is, funnier, whatever that is. And then I reread it and make sure that it is me in a better format, if that makes any sense. So that it's the heart of it is me in my mind, but they polished it a little bit more for me because they have access to a jillion words that my memory nor any of us here could ever think to put together in that manner. So I just take advantage of that opportunity. But yeah, so it's been very helpful. But I do want to check it because you're right. There's language on there. I'm like, yeah, I don't really talk that way. I should maybe change that word.
And Tanya, you also, I'm looking at the chats, you also said when you draft an email, you do it in a Word document so you don't accidentally send an email. And that's a good one for the the overnight rule. But also sometimes they just get away from you. So if I get an email I'm going to respond to, I will do it different ways, but it involves clearing out the recipient name, or I'll put myself in and then go back and cut and paste or whatnot. It
Yep.
just makes me so nervous to be drafting an email with one slip, or I just get so angry I hit send, and then I'm really wishing that I could have gotten it back.
But I like you, I get it all out. I say all that I want to say. Like I
Let
get
it all out, go home, have a adult beverage and revisit it.
Right. Yes, and try to, just lean in, and it's amazing how it changes overnight. It's that's always been very impressive to me, how our mood and our feelings, our emotions, I don't think we realize, we don't give enough oh, what do you want to call it? But we don't recognize enough how emotional we really all are, and the decisions we make, making them very emotionally. And especially as females, God created us to be that way, but it is very challenging sometimes. And that's the beauty of the Chat GPT, right? It takes the emotions out, so you can kind of like brain dump what you want to get out and say, make this non-emotional, or make this way. And it really, I was like, wow, I never thought to say it that way, but it really does a great job. So anyway, I don't want to take over the whole call, but I just wanted to share that.
That's okay. I'm going to mention a couple other chat questions we have. Ms. Anderson asked, would Zoom be evidence? Can they pull that up somehow? I mean, what I'm envisioning with Zoom is that those can also be recorded. That's just what we were talking about with Tanya and Teams. So if a recording is being made, then you would need to be concerned about it. Felicity asks about internal policy creation around digital communication, like text messages sent between company members on their personal phones related to work items. The first thing that comes to mind there is, remember, if you are, it doesn't matter what device you're sending the messages from. If I'm sending work emails from my personal phone or my personal laptop or what have you, and an issue comes up, my personal devices are going to be just as susceptible to discovery and being what do they call it, imaged and documents turned over as my work phone. So it's not an issue of, well, I'll send all my nasty emails from my personal laptop and my professional ones from my professional. If you're sending work emails, they're all wherever they're sent to and from, they could be, you have to turn them over. And in terms of just a policy creation, I mean, it's just at a very high level. The message is exactly what I just told you. Don't put anything in any kind of memorialized communication, a voicemail, an email, a text, that is going to be problematic, that you're going to wish your mother, the jury, your employer hadn't seen. And you may develop more policies from there. You may have a policy that well, once a week, if you're large enough, you have in-house counsel, some additional protections. But at the highest level, just don't put things in an email that for whatever reason you would never want to be looking at it on a big screen in a courtroom. Well, thank you all for your attention. This was great fun. And I will turn things back over to Amy.
Perfect. All right. So I have one more slide to share. You know me, we're going to have a quote of some sort, but this one kind of struck me because we are getting closer and closer to the season. As we all know, it will be here before we know it. So I would encourage all of you, let's go to my screen here, to take care of yourselves, practice self-care, taking care of your mind and your thoughts, taking care of your physical health and your body, your spiritual health, whatever that looks like to you, increasing your own well-being through self-care behaviors, and taking care of your emotions. Again, whatever these things look like to you, just take care of yourself, because the season's going to be here before we know it, and we're all going to get run down and be tired and not good to anybody if you're not good to yourself. So just remember to take care of yourself. Also, that's not being selfish. It's taking care of you, and you're very important. So I just wanted to leave you with that. And do we have any other questions before we go for the day?
I don't have a question, but I have one thing I want to share. I'm going to see if I can upload this photo. I can't get it to upload, but I'll try to upload it in the chat. It just said, it's a picture of a donkey, and it says, if hard work leads to success, and we're all women, I know how hard we all work because we do 50 million jobs. then the donkey would own the farm. It's really good food for thought, because sometimes if you're working hard on the wrong thing, proverbial wrong thing, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to try to, it really struck me the other day, and I wanted to share that with y'all, because I think as a woman, we do certain things a little differently than men. I love men. They're wonderful human beings. I'm grateful for them, but we are made differently. We think differently. We work differently. And along your lines, Amy, take care of yourself. And this felt like is appropriate to think about, where am I spending my time? Is it taking care of myself? And is it really worth it? So I'm going to see if I can get uploaded, but I just wanted to share that.
Perfect. If not, you can send it to me and I can send it out when I send the recording out. So Dana, thank you so much for today. It was a lot of very useful information. Yes, it's something we all need to be getting very aware of, because you don't want to end up on a large screen in a courtroom somewhere going, oh gosh, I did say that, didn't I? So thank you, everybody. It was very nice to see you all, and we will see you in September.
Bye, everybody.
Later. Bye.
Bye. Good meeting
Bye.
today.
Excellent. Yes, it was great. Congratulations again, Rebecca.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Take care.
See you
Bye now.
later.